you share some perspective? You work with a lot of these companies. Why is social connected to the promise of a much richer brand experience than, say, some other parts of digital?
Well, I think in general, shouting at consumers and just this one-way monologue of advertising it can get people to change their purchase intent potentially, and it can change consideration sets, and sales can move up when the purchase happens, but it can't fundamentally change the guest experience, the product experience. And so what we're hearing today is, and I think a lot of us in the room have seen it, you can wow someone like they've never been wowed. So literally their face falls off. They're so wowed by something. When you show up at a hotel and they know something, or there's something with a product. I love Kiehl's. I actually do. I like the Musk stuff that that you guys sell. I love Kiehl's. Someone saying that, and you get them. Someone who is a very big customer, or what you can do with kind of nightlife and events. With Diageo, and I think what we're hearing is that we're not in the business of just putting out content, but we're also kind of what's the audience, how are they reacting to it? And with the shift, I think that's underway at Facebook, who's out innovating, I think, any other company right now in the digital space, they're basing their whole platform off of that engagement, not what you're putting out and how much you spend with us, but how are consumers reacting to it? And so, I think that if you can get really good at marketing on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, which were the three top kind of destinations, Facebook 90% of the listed in 70, and then 40 for YouTube, you can get good at just talking to your customers anywhere.
Yeah, Alyssa, Rachel, do you guys want to jump in and build on that at all?
Yeah, I completely agree with Michael. It's we've been in the business of building fans and building subscribers, and the next phase of our social marketing business is how do we respond to them? How do we include them in the path to purchase where they are advocates and they are influential and that they are loyal? And that's our job to do that. And to Michael's point, I think that's really the evolution of not only how the technology is going, but it's where we also need to culturally shift our organizations to be able to incorporate that formally rather than just pushing out content. It's also how do we respond?
I mean, I would say it's the same. It's similar to the brand building, the guest experience, all of those components. Once you have the platform, it's really now how are you making that experience a two-way thing between you and your customers.
Great. So Venky, I'm going to give you the last word here. We stuck our necks out with a sports analogy and said it's not Tom Brady, it's more like Xavi from Barcelona. Can you shed some light on how you're thinking about the way that the brand marketer needs to transition, and what will be the key success factors for the brand marketer in the future at Diageo?
We've spent, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of time on capabilities. We've done social media boot camps for about 1,000 people across the world. But really, if you look at the people who are winning and thriving in this environment, what you'd find out is it's not people with unique skill sets, it's people with a unique mindset. These are people who are innately comfortable with ambiguity. They're comfortable with pace, they're curious. They behave like people do in the financial markets. They're comfortable with data and acting on real time. Like I said earlier, they behave like publishers. They're not complaining about the vast volume of content that they have to deliver at extremely tight deadlines. They're learning machines. So in a way, we are beginning to think of the brand manager as a bit of a universal soldier, much like a Navy SEAL. These people are incredibly adaptive and can do most things and can operate in completely new situations. And that might sound unreasonable and unfair, but that's the reality of how we do marketing today, and it's the world we live in. So you just have to wake up to this reality and learn all the new skills that are being demanded of it. Also, I don't think we have the luxury of running to a best practice expert for every little piece of expertise, because there are so many different verticals, and it's going to be absolutely unaffordable for us to actually build out expertise teams on every single vertical. So we're looking for somebody who can be a bit of a self-starter, be the first line of defense, and that actually is a mindset, because you can train for this. Look at what happened on Facebook 2 weeks ago. Are we going to train for this yet? We're going to have to train for these skills yet again. So what we learn is going to be constantly changing, so we just need somebody who can adapt to that change. So that's how we're thinking of these people in terms of a cultural shift rather than a skill set shift.
Great. Well, I think we've got some terrific insight from our panelists here, and I want everyone to give them a warm thank you. And we really appreciate all their support and participation in our effort and our study as well. Thanks very much.
Great. Thanks. Thank you. Great seeing you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great seeing you. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Thank you to Chris, Karen, Mike, Alyssa, Rachel, and Venky. Thanks very much to Buddy Media and to Booz & Company for debuting this very important piece of research about social media capabilities on the IAB MIXX stage. I actually think, I want to point out to you, that the headline for this conference, or one of the 2 or 3 headlines for this conference, may have just occurred. Venky, when Venky said, we think of the brand manager as a universal soldier. I think that's a pretty good headline over where marketing is evolving to. So for marketers in the audience and all of you who work with marketers, it's a very, very important insight.